Back 2 years ago in the summer, we had Mayor Daley and, at least 4, 5, 6 governors from Midwestern states at a conference we had here in Chicago about high-speed rail. I was chairman of the Midwest High-Speed Rail Coalition, and I was very happy to preside over that. But as time goes on and elections take place, a couple of the governors have either retired or didn't win their re-election, and they've been replaced by individuals, unfortunately, and hopefully we can change their minds, but governors who don't have that vision of high-speed rail. And that can happen in life, but that's not going to deter us here in Illinois from getting this movement going at the highest speed possible. I really feel it is a movement. I don't think anyone who sees $4 and $5 gallon gasoline should in any way think away from rail. We need planes, trains, and automobiles in America, and we have to have balanced transportation. If it's only planes and automobiles, we're missing a very, very great opportunity. And so we believe in rail in Illinois. We always have. Our own state, we've made significant investments in subsidies, really, for Amtrak service for our passenger lines going from Chicago to Champaign and on to Carbondale and beyond. Same way with our Chicago to St. Louis line. It stops in Bloomington, another very large university town, and Springfield has University of Illinois at Springfield. We also have a line that goes to Quincy and through Macomb and Galesburg. I see Tom Carper is here today. I want to thank Tom for his great leadership at Amtrak. Tom was a former mayor of Macomb and is doing a very, very good job for all of us in our whole country at Amtrak. Thank you very much for being here, Tom. And also, it is important that we understand that when we've made these investments in Amtrak service, we've had significant passenger ridership increases in our state. Now, this is our state work. It's not necessarily high speed. It's 79 miles an hour right now, but it just shows what the potential market is. And so we want to really understand the possibilities and embrace those possibilities. And because of that, I allocated state money to go from Chicago to Rockford, on to Freeport and Galena, and ending up in Dubuque, Iowa. That's a state invested train line, 79 miles an hour. And we're also working, and we got some federal money, I believe, for our line that goes from Chicago to the Quad Cities, and then hopefully on to Iowa City. We're working with Governor Terry Branford on that. Ranstead. I want to make sure that we convince Terry how important this is. I told him, Iowa City's a university town, and so are Moline and Rock Island, because we're building a very much larger Western Illinois University at Quad Cities. And anytime you have students, you can have, I think, a very good success with respect to rail. And we found that already in our existing lines. And we are graced by the presence today of the president of the University of Illinois, the whole system. Mike Hogan is with us, and Mike and I are going to be making an announcement today that we are investing money, state money, in a study of high-speed rail, very high-speed rail of 220 miles an hour from here to Champaign. Thank you. I want to thank President Hogan, and we have on this team some of the best people in America to do this study. And it's going to take about a little more than a year or so, but we want to see what the possibilities are to make Champaign a suburb of Chicago. It would be a 50-mile or 50-minute trip, and there are folks who are coming from Aurora. I used to take the train from Hinsdale, where I grew up, and if you were at the end of the line in Aurora, it took you at least 50 minutes to get to Chicago. And if we can do that with a 220-mile-an-hour train to go from Champaign to Chicago, we really can take all that brain power at the university and really bring it close to the biggest city in the Midwest, the capital of the Midwest, the city of Chicago, state of Illinois. And I think anytime we can lessen these transportation times, it's a great, great opportunity. The vision that we have would be a fast train going from O'Hare field through downtown, stopping at McCormick Place there, then through the south suburbs, past Peatone and Kankakee, all the way to Champaign. And then the study's also going to take a look at when it hits there, should it go west to St. Louis, or should it go east to Indianapolis, or should it do both? And so we really need to look at this. There's a passage in Scripture that said, where there is no vision, the people perish. And we don't intend to perish. We intend to prosper. And the way to prosper is to have a big vision and then to accomplish that vision. And we have, fortunately, in our state, men and women of fortitude, and a couple years ago they passed a very large public works bill. We call it the Illinois Job Recovery Act, and that particular legislation is very, very important because it gives us the resources, $31 billion, to invest in important missions like this one. To do the study for 220 mile an hour, that's certainly high-speed rail, and we do want to, as we do these studies and also carry out our mission, encourage those who are making rail cars and locomotives to locate in Illinois. I'm happy to say that Nippon Chiro came from Wisconsin. They're a Japanese company, but they're located and building in Rochelle, Illinois. They're going to be building rail cars, and there may be more. We have other companies in the Midwest. Some of them, frankly, aren't real excited about Wisconsin's lack of commitment to high-speed rail. They are very happy with our commitment, and so part of doing this and doing it well is to attract those who are involved in manufacture and all the servicing that comes with this mode of transportation. We have to have jobs, 21st century jobs here in Illinois, and we've had 15 straight months in our state of lower unemployment, month by month. We were the #1 state in the Midwest last year, 4th in the union, at creating jobs, and we're doing very, very well this year, and we want to keep it going. But part of it is understanding that sustainability, a green way of thinking and a green way of acting, and that means fast trains, that is indispensable to prosperity in the 21st century. We cannot miss the boat here or miss the train. We have to make sure that we see the future and build an economic future for people in our state that's second to none. That's my real focus. I think that jobs follow brain power, and that's why the president of the university is here, and I have a lot of smart people. I want to thank Steve Schlickman, who is with the University of Illinois at Chicago. He's going to be helping us with this study. I do want to acknowledge Christopher P.L. Barkin. He couldn't join us today, but he's the director of the University of Illinois' Railroad Engineering Program. He's one of our country's top rail scholars, and it's important that we have brain power attached to our plans and vision to make sure we do it and do it right. We have to, I think, understand that having a plan and really studying it ahead of time is exceptionally important. And as a result, we're going to have an advisory group to this study. Senator Sandoval, who's with us at the platform, is going to be involved in that, as well as Representative Neckritz. We have Rick Harnish, a good friend who's been involved with high-speed rail, I think, since NOAA. He helped NOAA build a fast boat, and now he's moving on from there. But I've known Rick a long time. He's a dedicated guy with a heart for rail, to say the least. And Kevin Brubaker will be joining us from the Environmental Law and Policy Center. Joan, I want to thank Joan from the Cook County Commissioner's Office. And we do want to acknowledge the men and women who make things possible on the rails. We have great, great workers. And one of the great things about high-speed rail is it has a very good employment multiple. If you invest in rail, you get very good dividends in terms of jobs. And Bob Guy from the United Transportation Union is going to be part of our advisory group. I want to thank Bob for his help and commitment. J.D. Ross from RTA. It's important that we work with our commuter railroads and figure out the best way to pull this very important mission together. We have Mary Sue Barrett, who's been involved with the Metropolitan Planning Council for many years, and Jack Guthman, who knows more about zoning. He's a great lawyer here in town than just about anybody on planet Earth. So a lot of this involves people coming together, banding together, thinking together, inspiring each other, and seeing the future together that we can do in our state of Illinois. We have, as I said, already done some good things. We have more to do. We all know, I think, that in order to have a fast train from Chicago to St. Louis, we have to deal with some of the bottlenecks that occur, particularly in the metropolitan area of Chicago, and we are doing that. We have resources devoted to that. We want to thank the federal government, Secretary of Transportation Ray LaHood, who's been very, very good to us. We are also very grateful to Joe Szabo, who is the Federal Railway Administrator, for his attention to Illinois and helping us, but most especially to President Obama, who had this original vision for America, and Senator Dick Durbin, who's helped carry that out through the Senate and really believes in it. So this is something where government, people in the private sector, people in academia, anywhere you are, we can make a difference here on this challenge. And it is a major challenge. If you think back to the 100 years ago or more, President Abraham Lincoln was building, during the Civil War, a transcontinental railroad system. And Lincoln believed in technology. He was always fascinated by the telegraph, and he used the telegraph during the course of the Civil War, but he really, really believed in the power of rail. So we are now, more than 100 years, 150 years later, we have to carry out that same kind of mission in the land of Lincoln to show the nation that we are not behind the times here, that we can do whatever they're doing in Asia, whatever they've done in Europe, we in America can do, and do well, and do better than anybody. That's sort of my philosophy to this, and I really commend everybody who's here at the gathering today. It's a very impressive turnout. We've got to come together and band together. In a democracy, you don't succeed unless you're organized. Early to bed, early to rise, work like hell and organize. That's my philosophy. And, you know, there are those armchair critics who say, oh, it can't be done, woe is me, the sky is falling, you know. I just don't think that's the kind of negative thinking that we should embrace, certainly in our state. There may be a few folks elsewhere that adhere to that negative philosophy, but not here. We can, I think, follow the advice of a fellow who lived 100 years ago, Daniel Burnham. He said, make no little plans. He was talking about Chicago, but that could be for our whole state of Illinois. That when you're in a situation where we found ourselves a couple years ago in a recession, well, you don't just wring your hands and say, woe is me. What we needed to do then, and we're continuing to do now, is invest in public works. I think that's one of the very best ways to get our economy out of recession, and we've seen the value of that already. All those men and women working on the high-speed rail line from Chicago to St. Louis, they are working, and they're earning wages, and they are buying things, they're contractors and so on, and those whole spinning out of that investment creates economic growth. And that is a key part of a decent society with good middle-class jobs. We must have robust economic growth. And I think we're intelligent enough to see the possibilities of high-speed rail, passenger rail, getting people to and from places here in our state and in the Midwest in a very quick, efficient, affordable, clean, reliable way. And that's something that I look forward to working with everybody here on. I'm sure we'll be in Washington, we'll be in Springfield, we'll be here in Chicago, and many places in between. Once you get the University of Illinois involved, and thank you again, President Hogan, for your commitment to this, for the university and the brainpower they're putting together for us, with us. You know, the University of Illinois, a land-grant institution, was created by a law that President Abraham Lincoln signed during the Civil War. He understood that learning is not just for the elites. Learning is for everybody, and learning is lifelong. And I think that we all need to learn lots and lots about high-speed rail. We can carry this gospel, this good news, to other folks in our state and across our country. We can be the model for the whole United States of America at carrying out a very good plan of high-speed rail. Really look forward to working with everybody here. Wish you well in your conference, and we'll make the will of the people law of the land. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you.